Okay, following on from Hampton Richmond's bitterly disappointing 2-1 home defeat to Woking, we've got Dave Stevens, Craig Tanner and goal scorer Dean Inman. I'm going to start with Dean in midfield there. How disappointing is that in the end?
I don't think you can get any more worse defeat than that. I don't think 1-0 up, 15 minutes to go. It's just we need to keep switched on for the whole game. We just keep let things go all the time. But we'll need to learn, bring it into the next games. But see how we go from there.
Craig, what goes through your mind? There was 1-0 up and we're just being pinned back. Everybody was really, really deep. What's going through your mind? Surely you just want to get the ball up and get it to stick up there.
Yeah, of course. In that situation, you need to try and keep hold of the ball. We didn't do it well enough, and when we had time to put it into channels for Podgy and Charlie, who did brilliant up there, we didn't do it well enough. So, but then again, I'd say they probably got in behind us once. Apart from that, we dealt with all the long balls. Big Dave and Lloyd and OJ dealt with everything they threw at us. So it's disappointing in terms of we've done so well, and you can kind of cope with them putting balls in because we know we're solid at that. But just little mistakes at the end just cost us a little bit, and very, very, very frustrating and very disappointing.
Dave, busy game at the back there, absolutely rock solid. They've got the 2 goals, the ball's been on the floor, a bit of trickery. 2 excellent finishes with Elvis Hammond. How awkward was he when he was on the ball?
Was who?
Elvis Hammond. He got 2 goals.
Yeah, he got the ball into. Probably allowed him to have it too much time on the ball at times. But it's not all about one play, even though he got the 2 goals there. But they worked and they had a fair share of the possession, especially in the second. And I thought everybody sort of dug in, midfield players included, the wingers. Dug in and made it hard for them because they didn't really have one clear-cut chance up to the goal, first goal. So that's not just one player, and I thought we did actually dig in well. I'm not saying we played amazing, but we did dug in well up into the goals, but the goals are what matters the best.
How frustrating is it though? I think it was 85 and 92 the goals that have gone in. After being ahead for so long, I mean, some of your frustrations.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a bit of a kicking and bit of a blow when goal went in, but I felt the boys felt ourselves that we could have sort of brought, myself included definitely, but we could have brought the ball down at times and sort of had a bit of respite by making them work at times. So we knew that you can't really get away with it for 90 minutes being on the back foot, so to speak. So, but yeah, it's a blow. Yeah.
Dean, I'll come to you. You got the Hampton goal, lovely little move, and your finish.
Yeah, Charlie Moon just kind of run in, boxes, cut it back, and just sallied it into the bottom corner.
So what's that now? Was that 3 of the season?
2.
Just 2. It was the question and answer session with Anna Devonshire on Tuesday night. One question came up: where is your position? Centre back or midfield? You're still in midfield. You're doing a good job in midfield, but Devo still says you're going to be a centre back.
Yeah, I really don't care where I play, to be honest. If I need it centre back, I'll play centre back. If he wants me to do a job centre mid, I'll do the job in centre mid, just anywhere for the team, really.
Craig, how difficult was it having, it was nearly half an hour half-time break?
No, really, obviously you're not used to it, are you? So you have your 15 minutes and but we just done a bit on the pitch. Didn't affect us really. Started the second half pretty well. So it's the same for both teams. So not really that much of an effect on us.
Lastly, I'll come back to you, Dave. We was missing captain Dean Wells. How big a loss was that today?
I thought OJ was superb today. He sort of marshalled us well, me and Lloydie. So, not saying anything, but I thought OJ sort of filled that gap really well.
Yeah, I mean, you did look a lot more solid than the Farnborough game. It was a hugely improved performance than last week's Farnborough game. I would say everybody's bitterly disappointed that 2 late goals have seen us being defeated 2-1. So, Dave Stevens, thanks very much for talking to us.
Cheers, mate.
Great.
Cheers, mate.
Dean. Have yourselves a beer because you deserve it.
Cheers, mate.
Joining us after the 2-1 defeat to Woking, we've got assistant manager Mark Harper.
Hi there.
Mark, yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, very well. A little bit disappointed, obviously.
Yeah. You sum up how frustrating that is. Them 2 late goals after being ahead for so long.
The delay at half time, we sort of identified how well we worked in the first half. The work rate had to be sort of kept there for the second half, the best we could for as long as we could. And I thought the boys did really well, to be honest to them. They just probably switched off on 2 occasions and that sort of cost us. Matty really didn't have any shots to save. We just the obvious disappointment of giving them their 2 opportunities and they took them. So that's football, unfortunately.
Well, the second half, it was a game of 2 halves. It was Hampton's first half, Woking came at us in the second half. How frustrating is it? Was it a case of defending it out, or was it just how you get sucked in and you end up playing too deep?
Yeah, I think it was just a case of us getting sucked in. I think all season we've looked probably a stronger unit than I've ever seen a Hampton side look for a previous amount of years. Defensively we're looking fairly solid. Dave Stevens again had one of his better games. Couldn't really criticise the boy for that. OJ came in, again read the game really well, talked the line really well. And Lloydie, to be fair, he's been out for a couple of weeks. I'm not saying he had a bad one, he's just probably to blame for the one opportunity. But then he made a tremendous block on the line. So overall, I think I'm sort of along the lines of the players, obviously disappointed with the result, but again, a little bit of encouragement from the way the boys play.
We've got a Middlesex Senior Cup game on Tuesday night. How many of the players who play today will be involved in that?
To be honest, I couldn't really say. It's obviously an opportunity for us to look at a few of the reserve guys, and you never know, a couple of the youth team guys might get an opportunity as well. At the end of the day, they're the future of the club. If there's an opportunity for us to see them, have a look at them, see how they got every question, we can move on. Then all the best for the club at the end of the day. It's nice that we've got an opportunity that we can give a few of the senior players a little bit of a breather. A few of the boys that have played week in, week out since the start of the season, so it's nice to be able to give a few a little bit of a chance of rest. But overall, whatever side we put out Tuesday night will be a strong side.
How is confidence in the camp now, because that's 3 successive defeats?
I think the guys are still upbeat, they're still fairly positive, which is good. The attitude at training's been superb over the last couple of weeks. We understand the sort of constraints we've got as a club. Obviously budget is not where we probably want it to be, but perfectly honest, we wouldn't want a better squad of guys than what we've currently got. They're quite solid, banter's usually the same, and the work rate's been fantastic. I think we just haven't had the lucky breaks, and I think those lucky breaks should start coming our way sooner than later.
Louis Ray Beadle came into the starting lineup for the first time this season. How do we see him progressing? Louis, to be fair, has had a serious injury during the summer. He had a dislocated collarbone, and he's had a major operation on that. It's going to be time before he gets to his full fitness, even though he's a naturally fit lad anyway. I think we have to introduce him every now and again, and we're going to have to do it with quite a few players. We know what he can do, that's why we're using him in the first team squad. And it's a little bit difficult situation. We relied heavily on Nathan over the course of the end of last year and the beginning of this year. Put a lot of pressure on the kid for somebody who's never played this level of football. He got suspended, so we've got to look at other players. And Louis is a perfect candidate to come through the squad. And I think potentially he's another one who's young. And you never know what's going to happen in the next year or two. He might be a regular first team. The midfield is a little bit short at the moment. That's been discussed in the week regarding obviously lack of competition for midfield places. So we've got Louis Ray Beadle. Is there any others that we can actually look at putting in the midfield in the next few weeks or months?
To be perfectly honest, Andy Smith is doing really well with the reserves. They've got a few young kids that are coming through, Luke Kanji being one of them. I know Luke could go in and do a job at any time. And there's a few, Gus who's in the youth team, who's probably shining in the reserves at the moment. He's one for the future, and hopefully Tuesday night we can give two of those kids a chance. As to say where the rest of the midfield players are going to come from, I couldn't really say. We might have to change the formation around, I don't know. But Dev will probably end up pulling a magic like he usually does and pull a player from somewhere, or try and make an inspirational change around the personnel and see what happens with him.
Okay, Mark, thanks so much for speaking to us.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
All the best. Cheers.